Over the past 4 years, we've designed and hand-built this completely custom one-of-a-kind Mazda Miata interior. But before we get too ahead of ourselves, let's go back to 2017. Back in 2017, when I first got this car, the interior was almost all original, save for an aftermarket drift-style steering wheel and some miscellaneous trim pieces. Actually, I'm kind of glad that it had the mods that it did, because I've tried to get into a completely stock Miata and I could not fit with the original steering wheel on it. For some weird reason, big dudes love tiny cars. Maybe it's because it feels like a hug that we've always craved? Shut up, because sometimes it feels like we're just protected, okay? God, at the end of the day, I fell into this same problem as well and ended up with the Miata, one of the lightest and smallest sports cars that you can get today. So all of this to say that I've always had a tough time fitting in the car. That's problem number one, and in order to explain all of the other major issues that we're having with the interior of our car specifically, we need to go on a small little teeny bitty history trip. By the time I lost my job in 2017, the interior plans were ramping up. Not that I had much money or anything. And the plan was this: paint the car Mariner blue and convert the tan interior to an all black. I didn't know at the time that the interior was actually a special edition for the 1992 model year, and that plan was actually kicked into action later in 2018 while I was still between jobs. I figured if I could just spend a few dollars on some spray paint and black fabric, I could refurbish the interior and make it all black. We're gonna be working on the Miata, of course. I'm getting my flip-flops on, here we go. Of course, I wasn't recording, I missed it. There was a fire in the car. I saw a puff of smoke and then it caught fire. Luckily, and it blew out. It still smells terrible, but it's just all in there. Like, literally a fire inside of my car. I cannot believe this stupid car. The entire head unit actually caught fire the first time I nudged it, because the previous owners left me with this rat's nest of sketchy wires. Today we're going to be wrapping the interior parts, like I said yesterday. So if you've seen any of our other videos, I'm sure you know, but the cyberpunk genre has been a huge inspiration for the visual style that has shaped Cyberrun, not just as a company, but also for our designs in general. And this time period was when that really started. Naturally, once the interior was all wrapped black, I started to shift over to that neon retro future aesthetic with the cyber vibes. This plan didn't turn out too well, as all of the faux suede faded to a nasty dirt color in a literal 3 weeks. So it looked terrible, but after I started modifying this car and digging into the interior, I found lots of other issues, and more than just the cosmetics. Once I went with the full cyberpunk styling in 2019, the entire interior started to get ripped out, as you know, cyberpunk is all about the grunge aesthetic. February 2019, I casually threw the car off the side of the freeway, so lots of stuff was damaged all around, inside and out, and I kind of let it sit and deteriorate for a while after that. This all brings us to 2020. The interior wasn't a large priority for me anymore, and the exterior was getting damaged from all of the elements and it just sitting there. So it was time for a total rebuild anyway. We spent the entire summer rebuilding the exterior of the car, that being a new vinyl wrap, new wheels and tires, alignment, that sort of thing. And after building our new shop, it was time to give the interior a little more love. I present the Neo Runner Miata's final interior restoration, Day 1. So once everything was disassembled, it was time to start prepping things for this new build. Guys, the interior of the Miata is not looking so hot, but today Austin is coming over because he knows a little bit more about wiring than I do. And while I wait for him, there's a few things that I need to get done. Of course, it's not trimmed or anything, dude, but look at that. Oh my god. Have you ever seen a Miata with no buttons or anything? No, you haven't. Neither have I, until now. I love it. So the Miata right now it's washed and it looks great, that's awesome, but the problem being the interior is a mess. The bigger problem being, right now we're still in the registration process, so we don't actually have a physical title for the RX-8. And then the Mazda 3, that car can't drive, and that's our daily driver. Which leaves us with the Miata. The problem with the Miata is that the interior is completely ripped apart. We still have a lot of stuff to do to get that car actually finished. Right now, I gotta get the car ready to at least drive. Last time I had the Miata out here, I actually took apart some of the door bushings and left them out here for whatever reason. I've got the door bushings, so we're gonna go ahead and go install this just so that the doors don't rattle as we're driving down the road today anyway. At this point, the car sucks to drive. Let's get everything finished up for real. All these panels are back together. I'm absolutely loving this. However, we still got to finish up those pads and the door cards as well. Guys, the car is finally finished. And with that, everybody, be sure to subscribe and enjoy the review.